Ladies and gentlemen, in a world that constantly seeks to draw our attention to the lives of others, we often find ourselves measuring our worth against the standards of those around us. We are tempted to compare our journey with theirs, questioning our choices, abilities, and even our purpose. But to focus on others is to drift from the path meant for us. The greatest challenge in life is to remain steadfast in focusing on ourselves, our growth, our inner battles, and our unique purpose without being swayed by the noise and distractions of the outside world. The truth is, each of us is on a personal journey, one that cannot and should not be compared to anyone else's. When we lose sight of our individual purpose and become engrossed in the lives of others, we fall into the trap of neglecting our own growth. To focus on ourselves is not selfish, it is essential. It is in this focus that we discover who we truly are, cultivate our strengths, and develop the capacity to make a lasting impact in the world. Today, let us explore the profound significance of focusing on ourselves and how it leads to understanding the uniqueness of your path. The first step in focusing on yourself is understanding that your path is unlike anyone else's. From the moment we enter this world, our lives are shaped by experiences, influences, and decisions that are uniquely ours. No two people share the same exact journey, and yet we often fall into the trap of believing that our lives should mirror the lives of others. We look at their successes, their choices, and their milestones, and we measure our worth against them. But this is a flawed perspective. The truth is, each person is walking a path that is uniquely their own. Their struggles, triumphs, and failures are shaped by circumstances that are entirely different from yours. To compare yourself to them is to misunderstand the nature of your journey. Your path is tailored to your growth, your purpose, and your development. It is a journey that no one else can walk for you, and no one else can truly understand. When you focus on yourself, you begin to appreciate the uniqueness of your path. You stop trying to conform to the expectations of others and start living according to the purpose that has been set before you. This does not mean that you isolate yourself or become indifferent to the lives of others, but it means that you stop letting their journeys. You embrace the individuality of your experience and recognize that your growth comes from staying true to your path, not from trying to replicate the path of someone else. The danger of comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy. It is a sentiment that has been echoed through the ages, and yet, in today's world of social media and constant connectivity, it has become more relevant than ever. We are bombarded with images, stories, and portrayals of other people's lives that often appear perfect, successful, and fulfilling. And in this constant barrage of information, it becomes easy to lose sight of our own journey and to feel inadequate. The danger of comparison lies in the fact that it distorts reality. When we compare ourselves to others, we are not comparing our full, authentic selves to their full, authentic selves. We are comparing the unfiltered reality of our lives to the carefully curated images and moments that others choose to share. This creates a false sense of inadequacy, leading us to believe that we are not enough, that we are not as successful, as happy, or as fulfilled as those around us. But focusing on yourself requires that you reject the impulse to compare. It demands that you recognize the unique value of your journey and understand that no one else's success diminishes your own. When you stop comparing, you free yourself from the unnecessary pressure to live up to someone else's standards. You allow yourself the space to grow, to succeed, and even to fail without the burden of comparison hanging over you. In this freedom, you find the joy and fulfillment that comes from living a life true to yourself. Cultivating self-awareness. To focus on yourself is to cultivate a deep sense of self-awareness. It is the process of looking inward, of understanding your thoughts, emotions, and motivations, and of becoming intimately familiar with who you are. Self-awareness is not something that happens by chance. It is a practice that requires intention and effort. It is the foundation of personal growth and the key to unlocking your full potential. When you are self-aware, you are able to recognize your strengths and weaknesses without judgment. You are able to understand why you make the choices you do and how your past experiences shape your present behavior. This understanding allows you to make conscious decisions about how you want to grow and evolve. It gives you the power to change the things that no longer serve you and to cultivate the qualities that will help you become the person you want to be. Focusing on yourself means prioritizing this journey of self-awareness. It means taking the time to reflect on your life, your choices, and your direction. It means being honest with yourself about where you are and where you want to go. And most importantly, it means being willing to do the work necessary to grow and evolve. The more self-aware you become, the more aligned you will be with your purpose, and the more empowered you will be to live a life that is true to who you are. The importance of setting boundaries. One of the most challenging aspects of focusing on yourself is learning to set boundaries. Boundaries are essential because they protect your energy, your time, and your emotional well-being. They allow you to focus on what matters most to you without being overwhelmed by the demands and expectations of others. But setting boundaries is not always easy, especially when we live in a culture that often glorifies self-sacrifice and people-pleasing. To focus on yourself, you must learn to say no. You must learn to prioritize your own needs and desires, even when it means disappointing others. This is not an act of selfishness, it is an act of self-preservation. When you say yes to everyone and everything, you deplete your own energy and lose sight of your own goals. You become so consumed with meeting the needs of others that you forget to meet your own. Setting boundaries is a way of reclaiming your time and your focus. It is a way of ensuring that you have the space and energy to invest in your own growth and well-being. And while it may be difficult at first, the more you practice setting boundaries that are in boundaries, the more you will realize that you are not responsible for the happiness or success of others. You are responsible for yourself, and that is where your focus must remain. Embracing solitude for personal growth. In a world that is constantly connected, solitude is often seen as something to be avoided. We are encouraged to be social, to seek out relationships, and to fill our lives with activities and interactions. But solitude is not something to fear, it is something to embrace. It is in solitude that we are able to connect with ourselves on a deeper level, to reflect on our lives, and to focus on our personal growth. Focusing on yourself means making time for solitude. It means stepping away from the noise and distractions of the outside world and creating space for introspection and self-reflection. In solitude, you are able to listen to your inner voice, to understand your desires, and to make decisions that are aligned with your true self. It is in these moments of quiet that you are able to gain clarity and perspective on your life. But solitude is not just about being alone physically, it is about being alone mentally and emotionally as well. It is about detaching from the opinions, expectations, and judgments of others and tuning into your own thoughts and feelings. When you embrace solitude, you give yourself the opportunity to grow in ways that are not possible when you are constantly surrounded by others. You allow yourself the space to evolve, to heal, and to become the person you are meant to be. Taking responsibility for your own happiness. One of the most empowering aspects of focusing on yourself is realizing that you are responsible for your own happiness. It is easy to fall into the trap of believing that our happiness is dependent on external factors, other people, circumstances, or material possessions. But the truth is, happiness is an inside job. It comes from within, and it is something that you have the power to create for yourself. When you focus on yourself, you take ownership of your happiness. You stop waiting for someone else to make you happy or for circumstances to align perfectly. You realize that happiness is a choice, and it is a choice that you can make every day. This does not mean that life will always be easy or that you will never experience pain or hardship, but it means that you have the power to find joy and fulfillment even in the midst of challenges. Taking responsibility for your own happiness is an act of empowerment. It means that you no longer rely on others to meet your emotional needs or to validate your worth. You become the source of your own happiness, and in doing so you free yourself from the expectations and judgments of others. You become more resilient, more self-sufficient, and more at peace with yourself and your life. Aligning your actions with your values. To focus on yourself is to live a life that is aligned with your values. Your values are the guiding principles that shape your decisions, your actions, and your direction in life. They are the foundation of who you are and what you stand for. When your actions are aligned with your values, you feel a sense of purpose and fulfillment. But when they are not, you feel disconnected and unfulfilled. Focusing on yourself requires that you take the time to identify your values and to ensure that your life is in alignment with them. This means being intentional about the choices you make and the actions you take. It means asking yourself, is this in alignment with who I am and what I believe? If the answer is no, then it is a sign that you need to make a change. Living in alignment with your values is not always easy. It requires courage and conviction. especially when it means going against the expectations of others. But when you stay true to your values, you are able to live a life that is authentic and fulfilling. You stop living for the approval of others and start living for yourself, letting go of the need for approval. One of the greatest obstacles to focusing on yourself is the need for approval. From a young age, we are conditioned to seek validation from others, whether it be from our parents, our teachers, or our peers. We are taught that our worth is dependent on how others perceive us, but the need for approval is a trap. It keeps us from living authentically and from focusing on what truly matters to us. When you focus on yourself, you let go of the need for approval. You stop seeking validation from others and start seeking validation from within. You realize that your worth is not determined by the opinions of others, but by your own sense of self-worth. This does not mean that you become indifferent to the feelings of others, but it means that you stop letting their opinions dictate your life. Letting go of the need for approval is liberating. It frees you from the constant pressure to conform and to meet the expectations of others. It allows you to live a life that is true to yourself, rather than one that is shaped by the desires and judgments of others. When you no longer need the approval of others, you are able to focus on your own growth, your own happiness, and your own fulfillment. Embracing change as a part of growth. Focusing on yourself means embracing change as an essential part of growth. Life is constantly evolving, and so are you. To grow, you must be willing to change. This does not mean abandoning who you are, but it means being open to new experiences, new perspectives, and new ways of being. Change can be uncomfortable, and it can be frightening, but it is also necessary for growth. When you focus on yourself, you embrace change as an opportunity for personal development. You understand that the person you are today is not the person you will be tomorrow, and that is okay. In fact, it is something to be celebrated. Focusing on yourself means being willing to let go of the things that no longer serve you and to embrace the things that will help you grow. It means being open to new possibilities and trusting that change, while difficult, is ultimately for your benefit. When you embrace change, you become more adaptable, more resilient, and more open to the opportunities that life presents. The power of consistency and commitment. Finally, focusing on yourself requires consistency and commitment. Personal growth is not a one-time event, it is a lifelong process. It requires dedication, perseverance, and a commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. This means showing up for yourself every day, even when it's difficult, even when you don't feel like it, and even when progress seems slow. Consistency is the key to lasting change. It is the small daily actions that add up over time and lead to significant growth. Focusing on yourself means being consistent in your efforts to improve, to grow, and to become the person you are meant to be. It means not giving up when things get tough, and not losing sight of your goals even when progress seems slow. Commitment is what keeps you focused on yourself even when distractions arise. It is the promise you make to yourself to keep going no matter what. When you are committed to your personal growth, you are able to stay focused on your journey, rather than being swayed by the lives and opinions of others. You become more resilient, more determined, and more focused on becoming the person you were meant to be. Ladies and gentlemen, the journey of focusing on yourself is not an easy one, but it is a necessary one. It requires courage, self-awareness, and a deep commitment to personal growth. In a world that constantly seeks to pull our attention away from ourselves and toward others, it is an act of strength to stay focused to stakes. But it is in this focus that you will find true fulfillment, true growth, and true purpose. The more you focus on yourself, the more you will discover the depth of your potential and the greatness that lies within you.